Yeah. But by the time that happened, and even as this guy, the writer here, matured into a full-blown international, wearing anything other than flip-flops without socks in the winter was deemed soft, regardless of traditions, regardless of conditions. At least it meant there were two benefits of hiding a pair of socks in your Lycra bottoms, which is so very relatable for rowing and British rowers, because I did not really understand what that meant. But and then for number 5, though, which is about the lunch is not a once-a-day meal, though, he does come up with a good quote, though, about retiring, and he's like, this guy's like, the only improvement you see is your fatness, not your fitness, because you start eating. You're used to eating 5 meals a day, but it's no longer training 3 times a day. So that's the problem. Rowing races, number 7. Rowing races always start early. Whether it's training before school, lecture at university, or work, rowing is an early bird's game. If you like a lie in, it's simply not the sport for you. The 2000 Sydney Olympics, our race, he says, is scheduled for 10:30 a.m., so we spent the preceding month going to bed at 9 p.m. and getting up at 4 a.m. to make sure we'd be fully awake 6.5 hours later. So, yeah, this preceding month going to bed at 9 p.m. and getting up 4, which is pretty incredible. He says he remembers nervously pushing some porridge around a bowl in the Olympic Village at 4 a.m. During the day of our Olympic final, when I heard a drunk English voice shout, "Good luck tomorrow," across the food hall. He finished his competition and had been out enjoying the Sydney nightlife. So he said he apparently opted not to tell him that the final was just a few hours away, but didn't make me question why he chose a sport that gets you up before some people had even gone to bed. Yeah, so here's number 8. Fishermen don't value, and by the way, what he said about rowing races always start early, or regattas, as they are called. But yeah, practices start early too, especially if you're rowing. If you row in an area where it's busy, a lot of boats going by, you like to get, like, starting at 7, places like 7 is when our club's varsity practice starts on weekends, on Saturday morning. But yeah, it's all about getting her up early and staying in late. It's always the best for the flat water. Fishermen and rowers don't always get along. One sport enjoys the calm in the water, where the other turns it up. Row close to the banks, and the fisherman sitting there will look at your boat bobbing away and rather catch a boat than a fish. You get used to the rainstorm of maggots catapulted in your direction after a while. Which is kind of funny. Fishermen luckily have not attacked me or anyone that I know doing rowing, but I mean, hopefully that never happens, because I also have done water skiing in the past, and fishermen and water skiing don't get along. Fishermen just don't get along with anyone, you know? It's not an advantage to be the best in the boat. It's number 9. I really quickly realized that with rowing, your dreams are in someone else's hands, and their dreams are in yours. It's the ultimate team sport in that regard. You win together, and you lose together. It sounds like a cliche, but it is so true. There is little point to be the best in the boat. Instead, the ideal situation is to be guaranteed of a seat, but one of the weaker crew members... it's important to be like, you're in the boat, but you're not the best in the boat. That way you'll be swinging off other people's coattails all the way down the course. At least he says that was my tactic. So very humble there, which is nice. And here's number 10. This is an interesting point to remember. All your training and rowing boils down to a few short minutes. The Olympic final, he wrote in, was the only race that mattered in the 4-year Olympic cycle. So all your preparation, all those early morning calls, shivering hours of training over winter leading up to 6 minutes of action, underperform on that day, and your previous 4 years are rendered meaningless. So it's just about like 7 minutes, 6 minutes. 6 minutes of action. For us, it's like 7:44, but that's the difference. It's the huge difference between Olympic rowers and just rowers that are like 15, like I am. But that's the main difference. But it's just very fun sport when you're like going with that power 10, you're flying down. It's just a lot of fun there. All right, so. Yeah. And did he win? He actually did win, so yeah. But the question is, and this is the same for a lot of sports here, like if you don't win you're kind of rendered meaningless, and you spent 4 years training for nothing. That's kind of the whole situation that happens. But yeah, that's just kind of going Olympic sport. But let's just a public service announcement to all you people who are wondering about rowing. Don't ever say rowing, oh, your sport's so it just means so nice. No. Don't ever say that. All right. Yeah. That'll be about it for us. We are going to say so long. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Spencer Wall Show. And yeah, that's it for us. We'll see you next week.